Lining up to come inside Coors Field last night. More than 43,000 witnessed the Rockies ending the 10-game slide against the San Francisco Giants. And tonight, Game 3 of this 4-game set on a pretty Coors Field evening. Welcome, everybody. Glad, as always, that you're along with my partner, Jeff Houston. I'm Drew Goodman. Finally, the Rockies took care of business against the Giants, but they had to white-knuckle it until the final out was recorded by Rafael Betancourt. They really swung the bat last night.
Well, and that was good, too, because they fell behind early in the game. They were down 4-0, and the offense jumps alive. And I think that you look at it, it was from top to bottom last night. The first 3 batters, they scored 6 runs. Carlos Gonzalez and Dexter Fowler had 5 of those runs. Of course, Jordan Pacheco, with his first grand slam of his career. Carlos Gonzalez says, I can hit one out to center field too. So it was nice because you had balance throughout the lineup. You're going up against Madison Bumgarner, who was arguably the best and most consistent starter for the San Francisco Giants going into that start, and then he ends up giving up 7 earned runs out of the total of 9 that the Rockies put up.
I thought you made a great point. The Rockies fell behind 4-0, and within that dugout there had to be, oh no, here we go again. But they whittled away, Pacheco with the big swing, and they got body language back on their side, got the swag back.
Well, yeah, and you need that, and it's going to happen during the course of a game sometimes where you're up, you're down, but eventually you've got to say, okay, enough's enough. And I think that they did that last night, and you could see the difference just in the dugout, the high fives after Pacheco's grand slam, but just the way that the bounce in their step when they're coming out to play defense.
And tonight, they look to build on it when they send Tyler Chatwood to the hill. We'll talk about Tyler's return to the big leagues when we return to Coors Field a few minutes in front of first pitch tonight. Pitches, he'll be on the hill first as the Rockies look to take Game 3 tonight against the San Francisco Giants. Drew Goodman, Jeff Houston. The pitching matchup, Tyler Chatwood, his third start of the year, against veteran Tim Lincecum, the two-time Cy Young winner. And the Rockies have had success against Lincecum.
Well, they have, including earlier this year out in San Francisco. They got after him pretty well. In 6 innings, he gave up 6 runs, and 5 of those came in the second inning of that ball game. So they've had history and good history against Lincecum. But it's going to be up to Tyler Chatwood tonight to match what he did out in L.A. in his last start. 0 runs, 6 innings, and he was just magnificent. Utilizing his curveball, his fastballs, the changeups, the sliders. Whatever he needed to do, he made the pitch. Also 5 strikeouts and just 96 pitches to do that. And he threw out 3 hits that night. So he really went complete Little League.
Yeah, and he's pitched very well at AAA. He's been on this stage before, first with the Angels, last year with the Rockies. So the jitters, though they're always there, they're probably abated a little bit.
Yeah, I think so, because of what you said. The first 2 years, you're always nervous when you come up because it's all still new to you. But now he's got enough starts, enough games at the big league level, and also here at Coors Field under his belt. So those nerves should be gone.
As long as they don't strangle him with his coat, he'll be good to go. Jimmy Wright, Willie Rosario trying to help him dress. Here, we'll shove that jacket on. Get it on. Let's go. We're ready to go. We hope you are as well. The Rockies and the Giants come on back to 20th and Blake with us. Brought to you by your 7 neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota, let's go places. By Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Tyler Chatwood. Go past Dexter Fowler and Dante Bichette. Leading the Rockies onto the field on a Saturday night at Coors Field. Another big crowd expected as the Rockies look to put a win streak now together against their arch nemesis, the San Francisco Giants. Angel Pagan will again lead things off. He's got a .261 average. Tough out atop the lineup, and Bruce Bochy has written out this group brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Marco Scudero, he has been hotter than anybody in the game. 16-game hitting streak. He'll bat second. Then Pablo Sandoval. Buster Posey had a home run late last night to get the Giants within a run. Hunter Pence, Brandon Belts at first base against the right-hander. Gregor Blanco will be in left field. Brandon Crawford will bat eighth and play shortstop. And then Tim Lincecum. Tyler Chatwood, as we talked about, making his third start of the year. Jeff, as the Rockies move forward, this is a guy that they want very much in their mix because his stuff is the stuff of a #2 starter.
Yeah, he's got the power fastball and a big curveball slider. So, yeah, it translates to being one of the front end of the rotation type of guy. And you'll see that fastball will sit at 94 miles an hour, use it 72% of the time. And it could be a two-seamer or it could be a four-seamer. That's what he's incorporated more now, than more of the two-seamer. Also the slider, curveball, and changeup at the various speeds. But for Tyler, he just has to replicate what he did in LA. I talked about it in our open a moment ago with 6 scoreless innings. Against San Francisco in his career, 3 starts, 1 relief appearance, 1 and 2, but an ERA below 3 at 2.93.
So he's had success against the Giants and looks to again tonight. Here are the Rockies defensively, brought to you by Excel Energy. We bring you the energy you need so you can live the life you want. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. Charlie Blackmon's in right, Dexter's in center, Cargo is in left, an infield of Arenado, Tulowitzki, Rutledge, and Todd Helton, who had last night off. And Willeen Rosario's behind the plate. Todd did get to pinch hit. So here we go, ready for some Saturday night baseball. And Chatwood's first delivery is inside ball 1 on Angel Pagan. Pagan 1 for 6 against Chatwood, and this is a fair ball. Helton's got it over to Tyler Chatwood, and on the second pitch, Tyler's got an out.
Like it was a ground ball out, working down in the zone. Well, I talked about a 4-seam fastball and also a 2-seam fastball. That was just a boring fastball on the hands of Pagan. Rolls over the top of it. Todd knocking it into the glove, and just an easy toss to Tyler Chatwood for the first out.
So here comes Ted Williams to the plate. And the pitch is outside ball 1 on Ted.
Because of the 16-game hitting streak, or he's hitting 485 during the streak?
It's yeah, the 485 during the streak. It's not, I mean, the 16 games is really impressive. 9 of his last 10 games, it's not just 1 hit. He's had at least 2 hits in 9 of his last 10 games. And 11 of his last 13. 1-1, and that's a base hit. Make it a 17-game hitting streak. Look out, DiMaggio.
Marco had a 20-game hit streak last year.
Helton's looking at him saying, dude,
well,
come on.
As superstitious as Todd is, he might be just trying to hit his batting glove or his shoulder to say, can I get some of that luck that you're having? But this isn't luck. That's just a short, compact swing, and that ball was hit hard.
He is as short to the baseball as anybody you will see. Very quiet, very simple. Sandoval has had some success against Chatwood. He's the only guy in the Giant lineup who's hit a home run against Tyler Chatwood.
Do you have more pine tar in his helmet or on the bat?
Well, you look at his helmet. There's pine tar, plenty of it on his helmet. It's nothing compared to, remember Biggio?
Oh, yes.
You couldn't even see the Astros logo. On the ground to Helton, chance for 2. Tag play at second. Tulo's got it, and the Giants are done in the first. Nice job by Tyler Chatwood. 6-pitch inning. family. How's everybody doing? Dexter Fowler will lead things off for the Rockies. Let's take a look at the Southwest batting order for Walt Weiss. Josh Rutledge will bat in the 2-hole. He's back at second base tonight. DJ LeMahieu got the start yesterday, did a nice job. Cargo, couple hits, including a bomb to center yesterday. Troy Tulowitzki, a couple hits as well. Willeen Rosario's been swinging it. Helton in the 6-hole. Nolan Arenado, Charlie Blackmon, and the very good athlete Tyler Chatwood on the hill against Tim Lincecum. Batting ninth is what I was trying to say.
Yeah, and pitching tonight is Lincecum. Ninth start of the season for him. 111 pitches, 7 innings in his last outing. Missed all of his pitches in. It was probably his best outing of the year. And the last time that he had gone 7+ innings since July 14th of last year. And for Tim Lincecum, it's a fastball 90 miles an hour. He used to throw 95, 96 when he first came up. Slider, changeup, curveball. And he's using those more now than he did before because of the lack of velocity on the fastball.
That's in the zone and 0-2. The one pitch that he doesn't utilize as much is the curveball. He's now more of a slider guy in addition to the changeup. And the changeup's the devastating pitch for him. That's where... That's exactly the pitch he utilized there, and he just missed, and it's 1-2.
Well, he just feels more comfortable throwing that one now. The release point's easier for him.
This is off the end of the bat, cued to Sandoval, and he throws out Dexter. His changeup is devastating. That's what guys talk about when they face Tim Lincecum.
Yeah, looking from the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo, just the grip on it, the split. Look at the fingers, how they're split. He goes wider than the seams of the ball and then just throw it like you would a fastball. The key with that for any pitcher when they're throwing the split changeup is to use the same arm action. Don't try to slow your arm down.
1-0 on Rutledge, outside 2-0. One of the issues the last couple of years for Lincecum when he's been off, and he's coming off a very good start, is that he'll walk guys.
23 walks in 48 innings.
And it was used similar to be last year.
Well, when he was throwing harder, he would get more strikeouts because guys had to cheat sooner to get to the 95 fastball. So now they're able to recognize the pitches sooner, and they're laying off pitches that they wouldn't have in prior years when he was a Cy Young Award winner.
And, you know, case in point, 90 walks a year ago, 86. 08 and 09 were his Cy Young years. 09 just 68 walks. And this is on the ground to Crawford. Giants defense brought to you by Excel Energy. Make the choices that fit your life, and Excel will provide you the energy to power it. Visit responsiblebynature.com to learn more. Gregor Blanco, good outfielder. Angel Pagan, outstanding outfielder. Pence is solid as well. Sandoval, Crawford, Scutaro, Belt at first. And Buster Posey behind the plate again. Wait for Bochy to bench Posey. He hasn't done that yet. Cargo with 2 outs and nobody on, and he takes ball 1. Cargo at 307, leading the club with 10 home runs. He has scored 35 runs. That leads the National League. Basically, the 35 runs, Huey, that he scored, he's on pace to score 140 runs.
Well, it tells you the depth of the lineup. And when he gets on, because of Troy driving in 33 runs, he's driven in a lot of Cargo.
That's in there 2-1.
You know, because of those numbers. And now when he has the protection, which he didn't have last year with Troy, missing so much, he'll take the walks. More of a free swinger. He still goes up and swings a lot, but he'll take the walk when it's given to him.
3-1, and he leads the club in walks with 22. There are a lot of front office types in baseball that one of the first numbers they look at to determine a player's value offensively is runs scored. Ball 4 and another walk. And Mike Trout, scored a boatload last year for the Angels in his historic rookie season. Cargo is scoring a boatload of runs right now for the Colorado Rockies, who have the most prolific offense in the National League.
Right, and how do you win ball games scoring more than the opposition? So that's why those front office types, as you're mentioning, will look at runs scored. They'll look at on-base percentage, because is he getting on to give your club a chance to score runs?
Tulowitzki with 2 outs, and Cargo, who can run at first, leading the club with 6 stolen bases, and he draws a quick throw from Tim Lincecum.
He has not been caught stealing this year. And if Tim gives him the high leg kick,
you can run on Lincecum.
You can take off. Buster Posey 7 for 28, throwing out base stealers, 25%.
And again with Cargo and Tulowitzki. He didn't start him off with a fastball. He went off speed. Who wants tacos? Remember, if the Rockies do as they did last night, score more than 7, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special. Huey was kind enough to zip out of the stadium, run over to Taco Bell near the 20th and Blake
But I could
facility.
only get you one order.
Well, it was very nice of you.
You're welcome.
2-0. Funny looking at Lincecum now with the short hair, isn't it?
It's still hard to picture him.
It's like his little brother joined the Giants. Cargo takes off 2-0, and Posey's throw cuts into center field. Cargo is going to dig toward third base. And for the Giants, that's their 10th error on this road trip, and they're 4 games and half an inning into the trip. They made a boatload in Toronto last night. They made 4.
They've allowed 37 runs on this road trip, 10 unearned.
Look at this ball cut from Posey.
Well, and also look at the jump from Carlos Gonzalez, the high leg kick. This is his easiest stolen bases he's going to have this year. Doesn't even look back because he knows the jump that he got.
3-0 pitches in there, 3-1.
That's fun as a base stealer when you take off, and within your first 2 strides, you know in your mind, oh, I've got this one in the bag. That's a fun place to be running.
Ribby out there for Tulo, and it's on the ground, deep short. Crawford will make the play. So he played 1 inning, no score at Coors Field. Rockies and Giants. Tyler Chatwood back to the hill. By the Honey Smoked Fish Company. Steve's in the fire. It's a ready-to-eat superfood Without further ado, here's Jenny Kavnar. Jenny.
Hey guys, you know, there is some pitching depth for this team this year down in Colorado Springs. So when the opportunity presents itself, they have to take advantage. That is Tyler Chatwood's mentality as he's coming up here for his second opportunity.
I feel fine. You know, just pounding the strike zone's the biggest thing, and just keep doing that and keep the team in the game for as long as you can.
You know, Tyler, just be himself. You know, pitch to the bottom of the zone. If he does that alone, he's going to be effective. I love the way he competes. You know, so feel good about him being out there tonight.
Well, Tyler's actually performed better with the Major League club so far this year than he has down in AAA. But he said he knows exactly the opportunity that presents itself tonight. And, you know, it is his 40th start in Major League Baseball. You guys were talking about this in the open, but he has that experience behind him that he knows what it takes to stay. And as he mentioned, you know, all I can do is perform. When guys come back, well, let's let them make a decision.
That's foul, a high fastball at 94. The thing I really like, there's a lot of things to like about Tyler Chatwood. Number one, and I noticed this last year when the Rockies acquired him in the Chris Iannetta deal, Huey, you could tell that A, he believes he's a big leaguer, and I don't mean in an arrogant way.
No.
And B, this kid's a competitor. Back off of Chatwood, and no chance for Tulowitzki to get Posey. It'll be an infield hit.
But that's what you have to do when you come back. You have to go out there and compete. Tyler Chatwood is doing that. And he's a good fielder. That ball just skipped off his glove. It was hit hard. Troy barehands it, tried to underhand flip it. Buster Posey gets down the line. Mike Shaw, Subaru Supermo. I mean, just a fraction of an inch from going into the webbing in a 1-3.
Hunter Pence at the plate. He fouls it back. Pence hitting .367 in the month of May, 3 home runs, 9 driven in. I had forgotten about this, but in the 2007 Rookie of the Year race, really tight between Ryan Braun and Troy Tulowitzki, 2 points separated him. Braun won it. Swung on and missed. He had 128 points, 17 first place votes. Tulo had 126 points. Again, 2 point separation. He had 15 first place votes. The guy who finished third, and it was a distant third, was Hunter Pence.
Yeah, but that's such a strong class with those two guys. To finish third, nothing to scoff at.
This is not hit that hard. In fact, Rutledge has only one play, and that's to first. Posey in scoring position with 1 out. And that'll bring up the left-handed hitting Brandon Belt. Gotta like this early. A lot of ground balls. Jenny mentioned the work of Tyler Chatwood down in Colorado Springs. One of the stats that jumped out at me in what he did down in the Springs: 29 strikeouts, only 6 walks. So almost 5 walks, I should say, almost a 6-1 margin.
Well, I'll go one further. The day he got sent down, or his first start after he got sent down, what did he do? He didn't go down and pout. He went down and threw a 9-inning, 4-hit shutout.
Right back to Rosario, and out at third base. Thank you, brick wall. The pitch back gets an assist. Even Willie's laughing about it.
They can laugh now. It was a mix-up in signs. He thought it was going to be a fastball, but it comes back, one hops to Willeen and fires a bullet to third base. And
nice
Nolan
pickup.
Picked it and got the tag down. Watch Willeen thinking it's a fastball inside. Whoops. Right through the 5-hole, off the plexiglass, on the pitch back. Got him. But I just finished my thought on Tyler Chatwood. When he got sent down, that 9-inning complete game shutout, well, that was the first time that happened in Colorado Springs since 2003.
Doug handed us a note when that happened. There had been 24 no-hitters in the big leagues between the 2 complete game shutouts down in Colorado Springs. 1-1 on Belt, and it's 1-2. If you're scoring with us at home, we hope you do. It's a nice way to watch the Rocky season unfold. That is a W-2-5. It's not a caught stealing. It's out trying to advance, and that's W-2-5. Wall, catcher, third baseman. Here's the 1-2, and the fastball is ripped to right.
How big was that play?
Really big. Blackman will fire it back in. It's a 2-out double.
You get that carom for Buster Posey, and you pitch the belt with nobody on. Brandon in his last 9 games, 10 for 23 now. He's turned on the fastball.
Gregor Blanco at the plate.
Cargo has moved over towards the line in left field. Blanco likes to slice balls to left.
That was a slice swing right there.
Cargo's using a newer glove tonight. Not sure what style or model it is.
Look
Looks
at
like
that.
a Nike.
It looks like something from the future.
Right. It's an intricate design.
Good pitch. Just missed. 1-1. Tim McClellan's the home plate umpire. Just off the plate. Tim began his career in 1878.
I know he was umping when I made my major league debut in '88.
And this is looped towards center field, and it's going to drop in and score the first run of the game for the Giants. It's amazing how good they've been with runners in scoring position. A 301 average coming in.
Yeah, trailing only St. Louis, who was at 332, but for Blanco, just shy of a 400 average. And this is a jam shot off the bat of Blanco. It didn't hit it hard. Didn't get much of the barrel on it, but put it in the right spot.
Brandon Crawford. Rockies fans, text Toyota followed by your question to 720-720. And watch as your questions are answered during the 5th inning. First time texters, automatic winners. You'll receive a free day pass to the Denver Zoo, courtesy of your neighborhood Toyota stores. Runner going, and Rosario's throw may have had Blanco, but the ball flew out of the glove of Tulowitzki. The pitch was way outside. Stolen base for Blanco and a 3-0 count on Crawford.
Yeah, number 4 stolen base for Gregor Blanco. And Troy just tried to catch it, whip it, and tag him at the same motion. Never set into his glove, and when he hit the runner, that's when it popped out. But because of that stolen base, you'll walk Brandon Crawford to get to Lincecum.
Especially since it was a 3-0 count.
Yes.
And that's a really shrewd little maneuver by Bochy, sending Blanco with the 8th place hitter up on a 2-0 count. In that, yeah, if he gets thrown out, you're starting again with Crawford. If he gets on, you bunt with your pitcher the next inning. If he doesn't, if he is successful, in all likelihood, the Rockies will do what they're done, and you clear Tim Lincecum
It's a win-win.
out of the way.
Win-win either way for Bruce. But now you put Lincecum down and get out of this inning just giving up the 1 run. Tim 1 for 14 this season.
One and one.
Fans, you can bike to the game on May 19th. Just tomorrow. You can win prizes. Get more information and ticket specials at rockies.com/green.
It's 2-1. Giants made a roster move prior to the ball game. They shortened their bench. Brett Pill was sent down to AAA Fresno, and John Machie, bullpen right-hander, was brought up. So the Giants have an extra arm, and Bruce Bochy has one less bat on his bench.
Well, just in their fifth game of this road trip, and they've used their bullpen a lot, especially in Toronto. They needed that arm.
And it's 3-2 on Lincecum. Pitch count's fine because of the quick first inning. That pitch looked like it was all over the outside corner. The inside corner, I should say. This one's a pitcher with an .071 average get the benefit of the doubt.
No, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, I know it wasn't where Rosario had set up and had to reach across his body, but when it hits the strike zone, it's a strike.
And that's strike three, which you always have to wait with Tim McClellan. For a moment, thought it was ball four. One run comes in on the base hit by Blanco. 1-0 Giants. They came from 4 runs down. Time to take a look at our Connect for Health Colorado injury report. Andy Pettit with a strained trapezius muscle on the left side, which is obviously his arm side, throwing arm side, is on the DL, and the Yankees, they have a crowded bus on the shelf. And Pettit, unretired last year, throwing the ball well. 4-3 record with a 3.83 ERA. And the Yankees, despite all of their injuries, are 10 games north of 500.
Credit to Joe Girardi keeping that ship going the right direction when it could have just sunk.
No question. Willeen Rosario with a 2-0 count. Willeen's starting to heat up again. He was in a funk through the first couple of weeks of May. Yesterday, a couple of hits and 5 at bats, a couple runs scored, and he had an RBI. Hit a 3-run homer and had a single in game 1 of this series, and now he's got a 3-0 count.
Give him the green light.
I really believe that the Rockies, it's part of their game plan. You got to work counts with Lincecum. Yeah, you want to hit his fastball. But look at that. That's up. And I guess not. 3-1. Looked like it was up before strike zone.
And he gives Lincecum that pitch when he didn't strike out Lincecum when he was batting last inning on a pitch that was even more in the strike zone.
'25th start tonight for Lincecum in his career against the Rockies. 11-7 with a 376. Ball 4. No, strike 3. Folks, I'm sorry. We just got to wait on, borderline pitches. You just got to wait on Tim McClellan. He takes.
And we can't hear if he's,
amount of time.
Yeah, when you're at the plate, you can hear him say strike or ball, and then pull the arm back for a strike 3. Well, we can't hear that. We just have to wait the 2-second delay.
0-1 on Helt. Who has good numbers in his career, 333 average with a home run against Lincecum. Rockies still trying to do something they haven't done since April the 20th. This is remarkable. They have that 8-game winning streak. They have not won 2 straight games since that streak ended. 0-2.
12-8 this year at Coors Field. Was an interesting landing for Lincecum on that last pitch. Like he hurt his leg. Obviously not. Back to this. We'll just watch the finish.
That looked awkward.
Tim uses a lot of his body. He's 5'11", 160 pounds. But this is the way he torques and lifts his leg and gets all the momentum going before he goes home. Go back to that pitch that he stumbled on. Watch the ankle. Right there. He just twisted off that left ankle, his plant leg.
Fastball away at 92-2 on Helton. 1 out, nobody on. Rockies trailing 1-0. We were in the 2nd inning.
Not coming inside Todd.
Hit a home run on Thursday night.
Home run off the foul pole.
Todd pinch hit last night, grounded to first. It was his first off day in 5. Which was the longest.
A good sign.
Yeah, great sign. Longest stretch he's played consecutive games this year.
Tells you the hip's fine, the back's fine, and he wants to go out there. And he'll let Walt know when he needs a day off.
And Lincecum strikes out Todd. Second strikeout for Lincecum. That'll bring up Arenado. Nolan last night 0 for 3 and a walk. He went back-to-back with Helton on Thursday when the Rockies built a 6-0 lead against Matt Cain. Giant pitchers have allowed 44 home runs this year, 37 by their starting rotation. Sandoval makes the catch and then hands out a souvenir. 1-2-3 inning in the second for Lincecum. 1-0 Giants. Against Tyler Chatwood. Tonight's Cold Hard Fact is brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Jordan Pacheco hit his first career grand slam last night. The Rockies have hit 82 slams in their history. However, only 5, or 6.1%, have been hit against the Giants, and all of them right here at Coors Field. Of Colorado's 3,220 games played, 324, or 10.1%, have been against San Francisco. So the point is, the Rockies rode some grand slams against the Giants.
Well, and the bonus to that question would be, who are the other 4 guys that hit the grand slam?
Well, there's another guy in the dugout who hit one against him. This is in the air to Cargo in left. And Pagan is out number 1 in the third.
For Jordan Pacheco last night, first pitch, cut fastball, and a no doubt. I mean, this thing's 22 rows back.
Yeah, that was well over 400 feet. First home run of the year. Oh, he's hitting 313.
And gets the night off. So the other 4 guys to hit grand slams against San Francisco. Bichette. Remember Ryan Spilborghs, the grand slam to right center field, walk off.
Yeah, Mark Sweeney, our good friend, with the Padres broadcast
This
team
next
now.
one, Preston Wilson.
Okay,
that's the one that got me. I got the other 4. I had to do some digging and hunting for Preston.
Yeah, Preston did some good things in a Rockies uniform.
Oh, another 2 hits.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable. Scudero, it's like comical. 2 for 2 tonight. He had 3 hits last night. Yeah, Roberto Kelly, did you see what he just said? He said, wow. He looked at Scudero's direction. He said, wow.
But that's
Roberto played this game at the major league level. You're not supposed to hit 500 for 3 weeks.
No, he's making it look like a video game. I said that last night, and it applies again tonight. I mean, if you were going to play Xbox or Nintendo, whatever the kids play these days, whatever video game it is, they would love to have numbers like that.
Sandoval takes the ball. Well, next time up, Chatwood ought to just hit him.
No, I told you what they should do is just tell them what's coming. to put the doubt in the back of his mind. Do they mean it? Is he really going to throw me and try to get him off his game that way?
I'm kidding, folks, also about the
Go foul.
hitting him, but watch Roberto Kelly here. Wow.
Marco's trying to block all of that out because people want to ask when a guy's on a hit streak, how are you doing and what's going on? And that's the last thing a player wants to talk about. He'll talk about everything else but how it's going for him.
Sandoval hits it in the air to left. Cargo will make this catch. 2 outs. And he doesn't only have a 17-game hitting streak. He has a 15-game hitting streak against the Rockies in which he's hit .484. Buster Posey reached on an infield hit last inning. And Scudero is going to move up on a wild pitch. That's big right there. Now Scudero in scoring position for Posey. Posey also torn up the Rockies. The reigning MVP. Over his last 17, hitting .484 as well against Colorado pitching with 6 home runs.
And he uses all fields to get those hits.
Good pitch. Guess not. 2-0.
He's tied for third in the National League for most RBIs in the month of May with John Jay, St. Louis, and Alfonso Soriano with the Cubs.
This may be a deal where Chatwood's showing a little bit of his wisdom. Not sure. I mean, he's 3-0 right now. Posey, he may feel more comfortable pitching to Hunter Pence. Now, Pence isn't a picnic. And he loses him on 4 pitches, but he may have just flat pitched around him and said, I know I'm going to put an extra guy on. Veteran pitchers do that.
Yeah, and they'll figure out where's my strength compared to the hitter's strength. Where do I feel comfortable throwing? You also set up a force play at any base. So you have that for the infielders. If they have to range far, they can make a shorter throw to either second or third. If it's Troy, if he goes into the hole, he could just flip it over to Nolan to get the force out at third. Now it comes down to executing your pitches against Hunter Pence. Good stop. Pick on the backhand for Willeen. Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo shows that it hit 3 or 4 inches behind the plate, and that was a fortunate place to hit, because if it skips off the plate, it'll gather some steam.
Jimmy Wright to the mound. Congratulations to Florentino Andrada from Denver. Florentino texted pick 3 to us at 720 during last night's ball game and was randomly drawn as our lucky winner. Look for your chance to enter, and don't forget to play pick 3 from the Colorado Lottery with daily drawings.
Smart move from Jimmy Wright to go out. Just calm Tyler down, just to slow everything down. He started to rush the last 4 or 5 pitches to the plate. Stay back over the rubber, gather your momentum, let your arm get out of the ball get out of your glove quicker, get up into the arm slot you want. And there it was.
1 ball, 1 strike on Hunter Pence. I was talking to Bam Bam Hensley Mullins, their hitting coach, about Hunter Pence. He said, this guy's unbelievable. I mean, everything he does about playing baseball, it's to bed early, up early. He knows everything that he puts in his body. He's a workout fiend, not only in season but out of season. I was talking to Hunter about that. He's got a personal trainer wherever he goes. 2-1.
He's also the only Giant to start all 42 games.
One of the reasons why, because of the shape he's in. I thought he must have gotten a lot bigger from his days at the University of Texas Arlington. He plays about 222 pounds. He said at UTA he was about 215.
The heat.
Yeah.
Wear some pounds off you.
Slowly hit to Tulo. He's got time. On the move, Helton stayed on the bat. Nice job by Ty. So a base hit and a walk. No harm done. Middle of 3. The Giants 1 and the Rockies nothing. The third, Charlie Blackmon, Tyler Chatwood, Dexter Fowler. Stay connected this season by following Root Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We want to hear from you as the Rockies continue the 2013 season. Get online and tell us which game has been your favorite to watch so far this season. And Charlie takes ball 1 against Blackmon. Or against Lincecum. Charlie Blackmon is the hitter, not the guy who's hitting and pitching, though. That's what Blackmon did when he was at Georgia Tech. He's a well thought of pitcher until late in his collegiate career.
Go to any big league roster, and that's going to be the case. Todd Helton was one.
You know what I learned about Josh Rutledge the other day? It's a 1-1. 2-1. Rutledge has the all-time saves record in high school baseball in a single season in the state of Alabama. He saved 13 games one year. Outside, 3-1. Tulowitzki, his junior year in high school, was 15-1 on the hill. Cargo was signed as an outfielder, but there were a lot of scouts that were thinking of offering him money to pitch. And ball 4, so a leadoff walk for Blackmon. Second walk issued by Lincecum. The Rockies don't have a hit yet. AT&T trivia question: since the start of 2008, Matt Cain has 66 victories. 4 pitchers have more. How many can you name?
Tyler Chatwood is a
look out.
Another guy that was a pitcher / shortstop. He was recruited to go to UCLA as a shortstop.
Yeah.
So tells you the power arm that he has. Did Brandon Belt get injured on this pick?
evidently. You know what? Is he holding his back?
Puts his,
he's walking.
Yeah.
He's walking like I got to come out. And I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but he's walking in the wrong direction.
See if it's. Maybe he just needs to catch his breath.
Well, maybe it wasn't a back injury after all. Delicate subject, Huey, but cut to the chase here. Not all infielders
They should
protect themselves everywhere, shall we say.
They should.
And then he keeps throwing the.
And then he has to.
Yeah, he's throwing it at the 5-hole. It's not right.
No, and he has to pick that baseball in the dirt.
Blackman can run at first.
Tyler can handle the bat.
Yeah, you're thinking like I am. Stu Cole looking in for the sign from Walt Weiss. Now he's walking toward Chatwood because you can slug bunt with a guy like Chatwood.
I'm thinking slug bunt, or you could go straight hit and run. I had that much confidence in Tyler to put the ball in play.
Runner going, and the slug bunt's on, and Lincecum fortunate that ball wasn't a foot to his left. Otherwise, you'd have two guys on.
Well, the key to the slug bunt is to show the bunt early. He shows it, pulls it back, but he doesn't go all the way down to the end of the bat and the knob. He's still choked up 2 or 3 inches. See the distance from the end of the knob on the Mike Schott Subaru Supermo? Lincecum bare hands that one and then just tosses it to first. But that's the luxury of having a Tyler Chatwood hitting 9th.
Two shots to even up the game for the Rockies. The first will come from Dexter Fowler, who hit one off the end of the bat to Sandoval at third.
We talked about San Francisco and hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position. Rockies aren't far behind. They're third in the National League at 284.
There are those numbers that Jeff is speaking of. Down the line, fair ball. Blanco getting to the baseball, turning and firing toward the plate. He's not going to get Blackman, and Dexter goes to second with a double. We're tied at 1. First hit for the Rockies. RBI double for Fowler.
Dexter Fowler hitting the ball where it's pitched, away from him, right on the outside black part of the plate, slaps it past Pablo Sandoval. Look where Charlie Blackman hit. His momentum is going back towards second base, which is what he needed to do, because if he catches that ball on the line drive, he can't be doubled off. But he has the speed, and Stu Cole says, Blanco going to the line, your speed, I'll take that, and we'll get a run.
Little subtle thing, too, even though there wasn't a play. You see the direction of the slide from Blackman. He saw Posey had slid further into foul territory, so he's going to slide further away from where the catcher was set up, reading the baseball coming in.
Yeah, that's smart base running from Charlie, and you'll get help from the guy on deck. He should tell you which way to slide too.
1-1 on Rutledge.
Go back to that slide is what you're talking about, where Posey is. So he said, I'm going to go to the inside and reach back with my right hand. So many times we see guys slide and they'll reach back with the left hand when they're having to slide to the outside. base or plate.
And it's the responsibility, as you were mentioning, the on-deck hitter to be his coach. This ball fouled off, and it's 1-2. That was a really good approach offensively by Dexter, because you see Dexter's got some uphill in his swing. He can get really big at times. He's been slumping in the month of May. He's going to catch fire again like he did in April. He really looked to get that ball in play.
Yeah, because when you think the other way, you could stay on changeups if that's what Tim throws. Because if you're thinking, I'm going to just jack this ball, I'm going to pull this fastball, you're going to be the curveballs, the sliders, and the split fingers, which Lincecum throws. You'll get all out of whack. You won't be able to put it in play. But instead of trying to swing for the fences, they take what the pitcher gives you.
Two and two on Rutledge. Cargo's on deck. There's one out. Fowler with the great wheels is at second base. Second RBI in the month of May for Dex. He had 16 in April. Slowly hit. This could be a problem for Lincecum. He's not going to get Rutledge, and he throws it away. Fowler will come home. Rutledge may have a chance to get the third. Here's the throw from Peg. Safe at third base. And the Giants are like the Wrigley brothers and Barnum and Bailey circus again tonight. Bruce Bochy saying we may have to head back down to Scottsdale and have a little spring training.
Well, 4 errors last night, another one tonight. Lincecum bounces off the mound, knowing that Josh Rutledge has great speed, tried to rush it, and then once he bobbled it, he shouldn't have thrown it, but he did. It was going to be a base hit for Josh Rutledge anyway, and that's what they gave him, a base hit, and then a 2-base throwing error from Lincecum.
Here's Cargo. And he pulls it foul. One of the things that Walt Weiss has to his advantage with his table setters, if it's Eric Young and Dexter Fowler, 2 guys who can fly. If EY's not in there, Josh Rutledge typically is batting second, Dexter up top. Rutledge can fly.
And he's a surprising guy when he runs. That's the thing that gets me when I look at Josh Rutledge. Is, some guys just look like they're covering a lot of ground, but he is fast.
He can really run.
But if you're watching it on tape or scouting him, it doesn't show up as much as you do when you watch him live.
Pulled to first, that'll get the run home. And Cargo with his 25th RBI. Infield back. Get it in play, and you're going to get a ribby, and the Rockies have a 3-1 lead. Auto glass damage, call Safelite Auto Glass 303-287-5000, online safelight.com. So the Rockies, as they did last night, taking advantage of miscues by San Francisco.
You have to. The margins between victories and defeat at the major league level, razor thin. But if the other team's going to give you a chance just to hit a ground ball to the first baseman and drive a run in because you made the error, take it.
The Rockies have a punch double to left and a infield single that went about 30 feet, and they have 3 runs.
But how did it all start? With a leadoff walk.
Yeah. Two 2-0 on Troy. 2-2 on Tulowitzki. Troy 2 for 5 last night.
First 10,000 fans next Tuesday will receive a coupon good for a Hebrew National Dollar hot dog. Get your tickets now. Game against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Rockies won last night 10-9 with 11 hits.
Just flashed the pitch count for Lincecum just a second ago. Next pitch will be number 60.
That's a pretty fair amount in 3 innings. His last outing, he beat the Braves 5-1, went 7 shutout innings. It was his first time in 22 starts that he had at least 7 shutout innings. That used to be like every other start for Lincecum. 2-2, ripped to left field. Blanco can't get it. It'll run off the wall, and Troy into second with a double. And for Tulo, it is his 10th double of the year.
And this was a laser double. He got a pitch in the zone and up. Troy, watch where this pitch is. I mean, that's right at letter, if not belt high, and he fires the hands through it. That path through the zone for Troy was what you would diagram if you were constructing a swing. How flat it was through the zone.
Really covered the upper portion of the strike zone. Ball 1 on Rosario. The pitch count will continue to elevate. A chance for the Rockies to produce a 4th run. By the way, for Tulowitzki, that's his first career double against Tim Lincecum. Willeen drives it to center field, but it's right at Pagan. Strong inning for the Rockies. They played 3 runs on 3 hits, a walk, and an error.
The Colorado Rockies made a move after sending Reed Breniak down to Colorado Springs. They traded him today to the New York Yankees. This comes just weeks after they traded Chris Nelson. So it got us thinking, how many dealings have happened between New York and Colorado? We'll show you some memorable ones. 8 trades in all. It started back in November of 1995. The New York Yankees traded Mike DeJong to the Colorado Rockies for Joe Girardi. And DeJong made his major league debut as a Rocky in 1997. Sean Chacon was traded in 2005. And then, as we mentioned recently, Chris Nelson and Reed Breniak now both been traded to the New York Yankees. Chris Nelson was actually designated for assignment by the Yankees earlier this week, and today he was claimed by the Angels. So we will see Nelly again in a Major League Baseball uniform soon. As for the Yankees, Brainiac will be the 36th player used by the Yankees so far this season, the 13th infield player alone, with all the injuries that they've had to deal with. Guys?
That's interesting, all the deals between the Rockies and Yankees through the years. The most notable, of course, was Joe Girardi, who's now the Yankees skipper. Sean Chacon in that deal for 2 relievers, and Ramon Ramirez has had a. Is Ramon still going? Hey, he was in camp with somebody. Ramon's had a very long and good career with the Giants, also as a setup man. Tyler Chatwood, pitch count of 53 as he works to Brandon Belt, leading off the 4th inning. Brandon got hit below the belt out the field last inning. Unfortunately, he's okay. And
yes, he went.
One out, and that'll bring up Gregor Blanco. Fastball at the knees for a strike. Blanco, a .365 career hitter against the Rockies. Ooh, that was dirty. Curveball.
Well, he's utilizing that pitch more second time through. Mike Shaw, Subaru Supermo, just straight over the top curveball. That's the definition of the 12-6. No sideways bend there.
Went back to it, 1-2. Got him on the breaking ball. You know what? Rosario went to tag Blanco, and Blanco was kind of whipping his bat through again. He almost got hit on the arm. 2 outs, 3 strikeouts now for Tyler Chatwood. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. Matt Cain has 66 wins since 2008. 4 pitchers have more. How many were you able to name? Guys like Verlander and CC Sabathia jump to mind. Well, it's Lincecum, Arroyo, Wainwright, and Hamill. So much for we were talking about National League only. My bad.
Good inning.
Real good inning. 1-2-3 in the 4th. For Chatwood, 3-1 Colorado. look back. Rockies were trailing 1-0 in the second inning because of this blue single by Gregor Blanco, but the Rockies would get 3 in the third. Dexter Fowler lines a double down the left field line, the Rockies' first hit. Todd Helton hitting live, and that pitch is out of the zone ball. It's in the zone, 0-1. And then the Giants, Tim Lincecum threw it down the right field line. Another run came around. Cargo would roll a ground ball to first and bring home Rutledge. That's a strike also. It's 0-2. Pops this up, and he'll play this time for Sandoval. Two and two.
Well, you're saying it's 3-2.
Well, strike 3. Love to help you folks. Can't. Strikeout number 3. For Lincecum. Wells Fargo customers, get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. Wells Fargo Bank, member FDIC. Arenado takes a strike.
Tim has been sitting at 90 miles an hour with the fastball. It hasn't gone. It maybe hit 91 once or twice. In 92 another time, but averaging it right at 90,
which is what he has throughout the year. And last year was pretty much the same. You know, you go back to when he first arrived, he was above 94. 0-2 on the ground, through the hole, base hit. So Arenado with a knock on an 0-2 pitch, and Charlie Blackmon coming up.
Lincecum's is part of the Giants rotation that has one of the lowest average velocities on their fastball in the National League. 89.8 miles an hour. But you throw in Barry Zito, who the Rockies will see tomorrow, that would bring that average down to below 90.
Strike 1 on Blackmon. Saying earlier that the Giant pitching staff has given up 44 home runs this year, 37 by their rotation, which is the most of any rotation in the National League. Nobody would ever think it would be the vaunted Giants rotation, allowing the most. That's a balk. The most home runs. Now you get check on Lincecum, make sure he's okay.
Well, and that's the second time tonight that he's had a problem with his footing. It's not the mount, it's just catching his cleat. We showed it in the second inning where he stumbled. This time, watch the heel of the left foot. Oh, excuse me, it was his right foot when he was going to plan and push off the rubber. His ankle buckled.
See if the Rockies can take advantage now.
Well, again, have Charlie pull the ball to get Nolan to third.
This is in the air to Pagan. And now Arenado's going to tag, and he's going to try to test the arm of Pagan. He's going to get there.
And I know getting him to third, it's 2 outs. But the wild pitch comes into play, or the pass ball.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's come with that changeup.
We've
We'll
seen
throw a wild pitch.
And we've seen it bury 2 or 3. And Nolan aggressive on the base pass.
Chadwood has 3 RBIs in 2 starts. He takes a big old hack. It's 0-1. Back up the middle, base hit. Give him his 4th RBI. Here comes Arenado. Said it so many times, it's a huge advantage in the National League if your starting pitcher has the ability to put together a good at bat.
Well, and he did. He got fooled on the first breaking pitch. This one, not so much. 76-mile-an-hour slider that just hung up there for Tyler Chatwood. But you were aided by the balk to get him to second base, and then the fly ball to get him to third. Easy score from third base on the base hit up the middle.
What you have in Chatwood is an athlete, and if you're with us every night, you may recall that when Chatwood was up last time, there was a situation where Wall used him as a pinch runner.
Right, and you can use him also when he's pitching at the plate, almost like a DH. You can play the game differently.
Rocky scratch out another run. As Jeff described, the hit will balk, move up on a fly ball, base hit by your pitcher, 4-1. Quality you want, economy you deserve. Ford Fusion, go further. By Southwest Airlines, find our fares online only at southwest.com. By CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Dodge, visit dodge.com or your local Dodge dealer today. Hazy night in downtown Denver. The Rockies leading the Giants 4-1, who've played hazy defense throughout this series. 4 runs, 5 hits for Colorado without a miscue. A run on 5 hits with 2 boo-boos for the Giants after making 4 yesterday. It's our Toyota Talk inning. We'll answer some of your questions coming up. Chatwood, who just drove in his 4th run, and he's been out there for 2.5 starts this year, will face Tim Lincecum. And the first pitch swung on and missed. You know what? The 4 RBIs is the most of any starting pitcher in the National League. It's one more than Tim Hudson, Eric Stoltz, and Giovanni Gallardo, who's one of the best hitting pitchers in the National League.
And just 8 at bats.
Amazing, huh? Chris writes in, do you think anybody right now could hit 400?
No.
I don't. I'm with you, Huey. And here's why. There's some great hitters in baseball. But now with the specialization late in games of guys coming in that throw 95 to 100 miles an hour, and some of those aren't just 9th inning guys. Those are guys that show up in the 7th and then the 8th and the 9th. I mean, they're difficult ABs.
Well, and you could see 3 or 4 different pitchers in one night, where think 20, 30 years ago you would face the same guy for all 4 at bats. That's why I don't think it could happen.
And it's now 3-2.
We should never slide head first at home. Start there first, and then it's just a comfort level for the player. Does he feel more comfortable sliding feet first or head first? For me, when I was stealing bases, I just felt more comfortable sliding head first. I had more control over my body, where I could slide out and around and reach back with my left hand to snag the base.
Strike 3, and that is strikeout number 4 for Tyler Chatwood. It'll bring up Angel Pagan. Why does the coach try to pair a certain catcher with a specific pitcher? Well, managers will do that occasionally, like the Rockies. Walt Weiss was doing that earlier in the year with De La Rosa, who can be an emotional guy with a calming influence in Yorvi Torrealba, the veteran catcher. Now, the last 2 starts, De La Rosa's been with Rosario.
Right, and Torrealba will catch Nicasio tomorrow. But sometimes managers will do that when you have a catcher that's only going to catch twice a week. So why not pair him up with the same guy so they can get that comfort level with the pitcher and not have to learn 3 or 4 different guys. So that's another reason why they would pair pitchers and catchers together.
Changeups outside, 2-1. Does Arenado have all 5 tools? Seems like it. Kiki and Lafayette. Actually, he has 4. He does not run particularly well.
And that's the only reason why he doesn't. Carlos Gonzalez is a 5-tool player.
How does a player to be named later trade work? I.e. the Chris Nelson trade. A lot of it is determined by how that player performs for the team he was traded to. So in Chris Nelson's case, he played for the Yankees, I think, for less than 2 weeks, and then he was designated for assignment, and now he ends up with the Los Angeles Angels. So what the Rockies will get in return, and it was cash or a player to be named later, is not going to be a whole lot, because his usefulness was not profound, if you will, to the Yankees.
It's not going to be a top prospect.
Right. Now, had he gone out and started at third base, you know, Chris had a terrific year in New York, ends up hitting 290 with 10 home runs, drives in 50, and is a big part of the Yankees season, then you're going to get a better player in return.
Maybe a AA or AAA guy that's on the cusp of being a big leaguer, or has been a big leaguer for a brief time.
Here's Marco Scutaro. Shockingly, Marco's 2 for 2. Here's the 1-0, and then it's fouled off 1-1. Drew, is it scored an error if a batter reaches first base safely on a drop third strike? It depends. if the catcher, had a ball that he should have handled, didn't handle it, it can be an E2. If it's a pitch that, it was just a dramatic, breaking ball that bounced in front of the plate, but, you see a hitter swing at it and it bounced all the way to the backstop and he reaches, it's a strikeout wild pitch. And he reached on the wild pitch. 3-1.
Or a pass ball.
Or it could be a pass ball, yeah.
That would happen too.
Ball 4. Scudero reaches again, and Pablo Sandoval comes up.
How many mitts
does each player own? There's an old term for it. Do players break in their own gloves?
Well, it depends. If you're just a one position guy for Troy, he'll break in his own. Some guys like to have other people, the trainers, break in their gloves. But if you're a utility guy, you might have 4 or 5 different gloves that you use.
Well, Michael Kadire has a number of gloves. Keith Duggar, we're showing Doogie, the Rockies' outstanding head trainer, he breaks in a number of gloves for players. He also loves collecting gloves, and he has a tremendous collection at his house. But he's the go-to guy for players when they need work done on their glove, or if it's a backup that they like help breaking in.
And you'll get to spring training and you'll have 4 or 5 gloves waiting for you when you get there.
And that's rolled up the middle and it has eyes. And Scudero's going to go first to third. If you think of the collection of hits today for the Giants against Chatwood, they have 6 hits. Scudero's hit his, the 2 balls he hit solidly. Most of the other balls, Belt hit his double well. The other ones were rollers and infield hits.
Rolls up the middle off the glove of Chatwood. This is a big point in the game. You're up by 3. You got the first 2 outs quickly. Then you walk Scudero and you got Posey standing at the dish with a couple guys on.
Yep, infield hit and a walk for Posey. And a comeback.
Nice.
Real nice. That's a big play and a big out by Tyler Chatwood. Safely through the 5th. The Rockies up 4-1. In the bottom of the 5th inning, Josh Rutledge, Carlos Gonzalez, Troy Tulowitzki. Again, thank you for texting in your questions during Toyota Talk last half inning. For more answers to your questions, visit the Root Sports Facebook page at facebook.com/RootSportsRM. Hall of Famer Tracy Ringlesby will answer a bonus Toyota Talk question before the end of the game. 0-1 on Rutledge. And this ball's lifted to right center field. Pagan letting Pence know he has it, and he does. 1 out. Brian Jordan doing some work on somebody's glove. Brian, the Rocky strength coach.
It's always a chore to figure out what, okay, this lace goes here and I need to tie it with this other string, and how it all goes together. That's why you give it to the trainers and the strength guys to say, here, you have it, you work on it.
Cargo showed bunt. That gets Sandoval's attention. 1-0. Cargo walked, stole a base, was stranded at third in the first. He had an RBI ground out in the third inning. That's a strike. 1-1. Cargo started the year 1 for 12 against the Giants, and then yesterday went 2 for 4 with home run, couple ribbies, 3 runs scored. This ball lifted to Pence in right field. 2 outs.
Like to have that slider back.
Yeah, he just missed that.
Yeah, 84 miles an hour. Fans, you can follow the Rockies on your phone or iPad with the MLB.com at Bat 2013 app featuring pitch tracking, stats, highlights, and more. Text that bat to 31826.
Slider on the outside edge for a strike. Well, one more year goes by and there won't be a Triple Crown winner. Oxbow denies Orb at the Preakness. That's a base hit for Tula. Second hit of the night. He had a double his last time up.
Almost the same spot, not hit as hard as his last double, but he goes down this time. Last time it was a pitch up here, this time down here. Look at the difference that he has to cover from at bat to at bat. Goes down, still hitting off a firm front side to get the leg and then the full extension.
Rosario at the plate. Last Triple Crown winner, Huey. Not Miguel Cabrera, but in horse racing.
Oh, okay. I was thinking just last year for the Tigers. Secretariat?
No, that's what I always guess. Affirmed in '78. Ward finished 4th. Which means when they go to the Belmont, there'll be 6 horses.
Everybody forget it.
Yeah. High fly ball, deep left field. Got a chance. See you later. Rosario with his 9th of the year. And the Rockies now lead it 6-1.
Two home runs in the last 3 games. You said it earlier, Drew, starting to heat up again. Been a while in between the one he hit on Thursday night. No doubt about this one.
That's an example of where Lincecum's different. Fastball up in the zone. If it's 93, 94, 95, it's going to beat a lot of hitters.
Well, it's just 2 or 3 miles an hour elevated. It's tough to get on top of it to get your hands there where you need them to be.
Look at this pitch.
And look at the hands from the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. Look at how high they had to go up to get to that baseball. And at 94, if you do hit it, it's going to be more of a top spin.
Well, grounds out to Scudero to end the inning. Base hit by Tulowitzki with 2 outs, and then the baby bull parks one. Go to the 6th inning. Are you the ultimate Rockies fan in the state of Utah? Show us why you're the ultimate fan by taking a picture through Instagram or Twitter and tagging it with the Root Fan UT hashtag. For official rules, visit facebook.com/RootSportsRM. With Jeff Houston and Jenny Kavnar, I'm Drew Goodman. Chatwood to Hunter Pence. Fastball down low at 91, ball 1. Pence 0 for 2, ground ball to second and ground ball to short. Chatwood has allowed a run on 6 hits. And a slider that disappeared. It's 1-1.
Just think back to that last in the 5th inning when the Giants had 2 runners on, 1st and 3rd. Buster Posey up. You get out of that inning and then you tack on 2 runs of your own to extend the lead to 5. Just give Tyler Chatwood so much more confidence and breathing room when he heads out to the top of this inning.
And a fly ball to left center field. Dexter makes the catch. Pence is retired again. Most importantly, the leadoff man didn't reach. He's gotten the leadoff man in every inning but the second when Posey reached on an infield hit. Brandon Belt will come up. Brandon a sharp double to right and a strikeout in the 4th.
You want to get to the ballpark early tomorrow as the first 20,000 fans will receive a 20th anniversary Dante Bichette bobblehead courtesy of Root Sports right here. Get your tickets today. Here it is. Dante Bichette, go ahead. Oh, look at it, it's even got the mullet in the back.
Yeah, he doesn't have that anymore.
No, he doesn't.
That's circa 1995.
But isn't that the classic fist bump?
That was
right
after
there.
He hit the home run in 95 in the 14th inning against the Mets. He did
right
one of
there.
these. Yeah, I like that they did that.
I know. So get here early. First 20,000 fans tomorrow. Dante Bichette bobblehead. Goatee.
You can steal that one?
Well, we're going to have to paper, rocks, and scissors between you, me, and Doug. Maybe Sam.
Actually, why don't we just put it back with our collection?
With the rest of them? Okay.
Then everybody wins. Ball 4, 1 out walk to Belt. That's the 4th walk allowed by Chatwood. One of those walks is intentional. That'll bring up Gregor Blanco. The pitch count is right at 90. And Jimmy Wright. Get Josh Outman going. Maybe not. No, it's going to be Wilton Lopez. Okay. And William Rosario not going to waste any time. Catches the high fastball and sprints out to the mound.
Serves two purposes. One for Tyler to refocus after the walk, but two to get Lopez a few extra seconds in the bullpen.
The Rockies with 6 runs in 5 innings here. There's Dave Righetti sitting on the bench behind Bruce Bochy, longtime pitching coach for Boch in San Francisco. In 23 2/3 innings, the starting rotation on this road trip for the Giants has an ERA around 11.
Well, here's the runs they've given up. They just total in the games. In Toronto, they gave up 10 and 11. Here at Coors Field, 6 the first night, 10 last night, and another 6 tonight.
Coming into tonight, the 21 earned runs in just 18 2/3 that they allowed, 31 overall, was the most they'd allowed in a 4-game span in 13 years. That's a strike, 2-1. Giant rotation has a 4.69 ERA again coming in through 42 games, 3rd highest figure in the National League, ahead of only Milwaukee and amazingly San Diego. Carr going left. I mean, the 2 teams you always assume are going to be in the top 3 or 4 in ERA in the National League are the Giants and the Padres, based on, certainly with the Padres, based on where they play. They've had a lot of good pitching too through the years.
Well, and the Padres ERA is not going to go up that dramatically because they moved the fences in. You know, it's just not pitching well, and you take advantage of those rotations.
Brandon Crawford intentionally walked in the 2nd and a slow roller to 2nd in the 4th. And that pitch is low, ball 1. This would be Chatwood's final inning of work, and he's been terrific. (6-1) Rockies lead.
Good pitch. That's one of his best changeups tonight. And he hasn't thrown but more than 7 or 8 of them. Out of the hand of the Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo. It's not the circle change or the split change we saw from Lincecum. That was the 3-finger change. Put it back deep into the hand and use the seams off the 3 fingers to slow it down.
2 balls and a strike. 13-mile-an-hour difference basically between his fastball and the changeup. I asked Todd Helton in spring training last year. It was about 3-4 weeks into spring training. I said, who's impressed you so far? It's a year ago. And with great inflection, he said, Tyler Chatwood. I asked Jason Giambi the same thing a year ago. And he said, without prompting, Tyler Chatwood. They both said, he's got dirty stuff. I was talking to Michael Kadire yesterday about Chatwood, and he said he faced him when he was with the Angels. This is a ground ball. Rutledge trying to get to him. Won't be able to make a play, so it's an infield hit. And Kadire said his stuff is nasty. And the reason I bring those 3 guys out, they'd be pretty good sources for information on just how good a pitcher's stuff is.
Yeah, as many arms as they've seen, right-handed, left-handed, the years of experience and games played. And whether it's spring training or during the season, they know when guys have above average stuff.
Nick Noonan's going to pinch hit here for Tim Lincecum. And this is the kid who was just brought up, John Machie. And now Walt's going to go to his bullpen. 99 pitches for Chatwood. Rosario tapping him on the head and the chest. Job well done, Tyler Chatwood. Getting a standing ovation from the big crowd here at Coors Field. Two-thirds fine innings and also drove in a run with a single. We'll watch as Josh Outman faces Joaquin Arias now. So Noonan was announced, and Bruce Bochy's just going to scratch him. He burns Noonan, and he'll go to Joaquin Arias on a bench that's short a player tonight.
Yeah, they went with the extra arm. 13 guys on the pitching staff, just 4 bench guys. So Bruce Bochy knew that if they brought the lefty in, he's going to have to burn Noonan to get to Arias and leave him with 2 guys on his bench, and one of them being your backup catcher. So you really only have Andres Torres. Joaquin Arias, 231 average against left-handers this year.
And the first pitch in there for a strike from Outman.
Josh got up in a hurry and got loose down in the pen.
And a ground ball to short. And Tulo had to go across the diamond at the last moment. He still gets Arias. Good job by Outman to get Arias. Chatwood getting the handshakes. Rockies up 6-1.
Saturday night back at Coors Field as we head to the bottom of the sixth. That's where Nolan Arenado is going to lead things off. This is his 19th start in his young rookie season, and he has been impressive so far. He has not had a day off yet, and even the veteran in the locker room, Todd Helton, well, he's noticed.
The plays that he's making, I mean, I don't watch Sports Center, but they should be on there. They're absolutely amazing. Just to get to the balls is one thing, but you know, I never knew his arm had that much life on it, and he's be able to get up and throw those guys out, because I mean, a couple of those guys are pretty good runners.
Well, in 163 innings of play so far at the Major League level, Arenado has just 2 errors. We have seen phenomenal plays from him over at the hot corner. He's also been impressive at the plate. He's hitting .250 right now. He has a run scored and a single tonight, but I think that'll only heat up over time. He seems so comfortable in the field, Drew and Jeff.
He's really comfortable. And Jenny, if you think about it, one of the errors he got really shouldn't have been an error. It was a call that was missed at first base. Jordan Pacheco on a throw that was just slightly high, came right back down on the bag.
Last night.
And he came down on the bag and a half a step in front of the runner. This is John Machie. He just got called up today to the big leagues again when Brett Pill was sent out. It'll be Arenado, Blackman, and Outman scheduled.
A second tour for John with the Giants. Down in AAA, 9 scoreless innings, 10 strikeouts, and 7 outings.
Arenado hits it to deep center field. Pagan will make the catch.
A little bit of a breeze blowing in from left center field, going across from left center to right center, and that held that ball up. It was off the bat. It was looking like it was going to be a double at the minimum. Flags I was mentioning just held it up for Pagan to run underneath it.
And Blackman takes a strike. Charlie a walk and a fly ball to center field.
John, this is 18th Major League game, 17 innings pitched, 17 hits, and a .371 ERA.
Oh, 2 on Charlie. Good pitch. Josh Outman will hit for himself here in the 6th inning. The line on Chatwood, 5 2/3. He gives up a run on 7 hits. He walked 4. One of the walks was intentional, and he struck out 4. In line for his 2nd victory of the year with the Rockies, ahead 6-1.
99 pitches, 57 for strikes.
2-1. If you have auto glass damage, call Safelite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelight.com. Dexter will be next if Outman can reach 2-2 count with 2 outs. Dexter will have to wait to the 7th to hit. Outman strikes out. Machi with a couple of strikeouts in the inning. 6-1 Rockies.
Six to 1 as we head to the top of the 7th inning. Josh Outman's out for his 2nd inning of work. Came in at the final out, the bottom of the 6th. The pinch hitter Joaquin Arias at the top of the lineup. Angel Pagan, Scudero, and Pablo Sandoval. 2 switch hitters in the group. Go back for a moment to Tyler Chatwood's performance today. He couldn't ask for anything more from a guy making his 3rd start this season after being recalled. 5 2/3, gave up 7 hits, just 1 earned run, and pitched out of just 2 traffic innings where he needed to make pitches, and he did. The 5th was one of them.
And the thing I look at, and the thing that you look at, more importantly, the thing that Jimmy Wright, Walt Weiss will look at, Bill Guyvet, Dan O'Dowd, how is the ball off the bat again? He controlled hitters' bats. There was only a few balls that were put in play with authority.
And with 3 pitches. It wasn't I had to work around people and just using my fastball. It was a fastball, big curveball, but also the changeup the last inning or 2. The other inning he had some traffic was the 3rd inning. He got Hunter Pence on the ground out. He had 1st and 2nd, 2 outs, and we talked about the Giants with runners in scoring position. He gets Pence on a soft ground ball.
And when you look at the Giants rotation of Bumgarner, Lincecum, Kane, particularly when they've gone well, and most of their career those guys have gone very well, the elite pitchers get the big outs. There's traffic, runners in scoring position, they become a little bit better.
Well, even Matt Cain gave up the 6 runs the other night in the first 2 or 3 innings, and he didn't give up anything the last 3.
Rosario just kind of staring down Outman, who's fallen behind 3-1.
Says you got a 5-run lead. Let's go. You don't want to put extra men on base and get to the teeth of this lineup.
But the reason I referenced the Giant rotation is that's what Chatwood did tonight. When there was a little bit of traffic, he got the big outs. Got Posey with some traffic. It's a base hit. And that, you know what? You can live with that as opposed to Pagan reaching on a walk. Now, you'd like it not to come at a 3-1 count.
Right, but you can't do anything against a walk. You just let him drop his bat, and he goes to first, and then you're hoping for the double play. Could have hit it right at somebody.
That's right. What's next is brought to you by CenturyLink. Here's the matchup on the hill tomorrow. Juan Nicasio gets pushed back. He was scheduled to go tonight, so he'll have an extra day of rest, and he'll draw Barry Zito. And the Rockies, they want to come out of this series. They want to hold on to this one. Want to win tomorrow, obviously. But if they can start turning the tide against the Giants collectively and individually against Barry Zito, that would be a real plus this week.
Just the numbers that he has against the Rockies. I mean, they're off the chart numbers.
And he's thrown the baseball, Huey, for the most part well this year, and exceptionally well last year. He had a flashback to his Oakland days. But when he had been a really big disappointment for several seasons for the Giants, the one team the Giants could count on him beating was the Rockies.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
Well, and that was even during the time when he got banished to the bullpen, because he couldn't hold on to his rotation in his spot in the rotation.
Inside on Scudero, 2-1. Scudero 2 hits and a walk. 17-game hitting streak as you look at Barry Zito sitting next to Matt Cain.
Those are the numbers we were alluding to.
2.47 ERA. You don't see that much. A swing and a miss from Scudero. I'm serious about that.
I know. He went with the. Just looking at that, that was the split finger. He uses that as his changeup.
Look at this about the Giants. We're telling you how they spray the ball around. They know who they are. They have the lowest swing and miss percentage in the National League. Actually, in Major League Baseball, not just the National League. Just 18.5% of the time, second lowest, I should say, to the Dodgers, do they swing and miss. And the Major League average is 21.5%. Runner going. Tulowitzki will get Scudero at first.
He got him out.
Is at second base. Yeah, I mean, back in Little League when you got the star out, there was like a dog pile on the mound. Right? That'll bring up Sandoval.
Get discounts and scoreboard recognition when you bring your group of 25 or more to Coors Field. All 303 Rockies, or go online to rockies.com/group. Get your group together today.
Wilton Lopez back up in the Rockies pen. Sandoval 1 for 3, rolled a single up the middle his last time up. This is to second. Rutledge 2 outs.
San Francisco tonight only 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Need to be 1 for 7.
Posey takes a strike. In football crazy Tallahassee, Buster Posey was such a star on the baseball diamond. They had a song written about him that they would sing, all the fans would sing at Florida State baseball games.
Remember the talk coming out is, oh, he didn't really want to be a catcher and they're going to have to move him. No. Just leave behind the plate.
Pretty darn good catcher. And he'll play first when he's not catching to keep his bat in the lineup. That's a strike. Good location on that fastball in the outside corner, right on the black at 91 from Josh Outman.
Going with the split finger.
And he gets a rollover ground ball. Good pitch. Nice job of pitching by Josh Outman after the leadoff single by Pagan. He's left at third, Rocky 6, and the Giants won. Stretch time at Coors Field. Sports is brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By the Honey Smoked Fish Company, secrets of the fire, it's a ready-to-eat superfood. And by Connect for Health Colorado, when health insurance plans compete, there's only one winner, you. Dexter Fowler in the 7th inning against Machie, and he takes a strike. Well, now we're being told there's a different pronunciation. The pronunciation in the Giant notes is not the same as what we're being told. Now we're being told it's Machi. One and two on Fowler. That pronunciation I'm certain of. The Giants have a different pronunciation in their notes from their media guide.
We're going to go with John Machi. Okay, got it.
Another 1-2 to Dex, and it's fouled off. Dex an RBI double back in the 3rd inning. Rockies, the highest scoring team in the National League at 4.9 runs a game. The Giants are second at 4.76. But the Rockies leading 6-1, and they have a leadoff single from Dexter. After watching the Rockies tomorrow, stick around for Rockies Weekly. This week we'll take you to Chicago, and we'll talk Wrigley Field with Tracy Ringlesby and Renee Latchman. We'll hear from Cubs fans about the reactions to the proposed renovations at Wrigley Field, and we'll also sit down with skipper Walt Weiss. Don't miss Rockies Weekly. That's tomorrow after the game.
I'm in favor of the renovations at Wrigley Field.
Well, I think everybody involved is. The fans would like to see it. The players most notably, because the two clubhouses have not changed since 1914.
No.
But I still love it there. The charm and the history. It's a great place to be. Ball's fouled back over our heads into the upper deck.
Dexter bluffed like he was stealing second base, but slipped and then had to stop. The guard on his left hand. Watch him slip. That lead foot didn't get the good plant to take off.
Tim Lincecum, 5 innings. He gave up 6 runs on 7 hits, walked a couple, struck out 4 through a wild pitch. And Tyler Chatwood on the plus side, as Jeff told you his line, a run on 7 hits and 5 2/3. 4 walks, 1 intentionally. He struck out 4. Here's the 0-1. It's a fly ball to Penson right. That'll bring up Carlos Gonzalez. Cargo tonight, 0 for 2. RBI ground out in the third. He walked in the first inning, stole his 7th base of the year. Last night, late in the evening, he gave the Rockies a 10-5 lead. And that home run turned out to be very important as the Rockies won 10-9.
I thought you were going to say that was the home run that you called, because you're talking about the fountains in center field. And
saw Cargo after the game, and I said, dude, your aim was off. He said they hit it in the fountains.
He didn't hear the fountains part. He just said hit it. Hit the
far,
home run,
yeah.
yes.
Two and out. That's 3 and out.
Give him the green light. He is staying about as far away from Carlos Gonzalez's power zone as you can. He's not even in the same area code, not giving him a fastball to hit. If he throws one there, go ahead and swing and hit another one out.
Fargo with a walk earlier. Mentioned last night he walked a couple times the other day. His walk percentage is 12.4%. Walking 1 out of every 8 at bats, which is by far the highest of his career. Three and 2.
Late call from Tim McClellan. It was in, not a strike. He called it a strike. Well, look at Troy. Troy's taking his ball 4. I mean, I got to go back, but that's on Tim McClellan.
In the air to shallow right. Pence will get it. Dexter was running. Will get back to first base, 2 outs. Now Tulowitzki can come up 2 for 3, single and a double tonight.
Wind is really picked up. Soft breeze last inning, and now it's much stronger coming in from left field.
Here goes Dexter, and it's fouled off. Let's check in with Jenny Kavner. Jenny?
Yeah, you guys are talking about the wind. The temperature has actually significantly dropped out here since the start of the game. The scoreboard says it's 63 degrees, but the cool breeze coming through, it's definitely dropped. There's been some rain on and off, very light sprinkles, but I think the wind more than anything may have an effect coming down here to the last couple innings.
Are you kidding me? From a couple weeks ago, it's flat gorgeous out.
I'm just saying. I didn't say snow was coming in the forecast, but for a spring day that started out very warm, it has dropped.
Do you need a sweater?
I have one on. Thank you.
We're just looking to help.
I've got an extra umbrella if you need one, Jenny.
Thank you. That would be payback.
Wait, that was
right?
your umbrella that I used. That's right.
Jenny, have you gotten a berry kebab yet tonight?
I have not. I laid off of them. One a homestand, you know? I don't run as much as you do, Drew. We all can't afford to eat that every day.
Louie and I are thinking of expanding. Going to 2 berry kebabs a homestand.
Sounds good to me.
1 and 2 on Tulowitzki.
Well, and now a running count for Dexter Fowler at 1 and 2. Dexter 5 for 6 in stolen bases. Buster Posey 25% throwing out runners. Already has an error tonight throwing to second.
Dex got a huge jump. He checked it out at first. No swing by Tulowitzki, so Dexter has his 6th stolen base.
Really no contest for Dexter. Buster Posey comes up. Dexter's by him. Did Troy swing? No, he didn't. It's right on the edge.
Well, now the Rockies will literally try to steal a run.
Troy 3rd in the National League in RBIs with 33.
Dexter telling his former teammate Scooter Road, come on, dude. How many hits you gonna get? Down the line, and Sandoval comes up with it. He doesn't have a play. Infield hit for Tulowitzki. First and third for Rosario.
But he did save a run, being able to get to the ball down the line. Off the end of the bat for Troy, but still strong enough. Pablo Sandoval, knowing that he couldn't get Troy. See many guys blow a bubble before they field the ball, but Pablo Sandoval did.
Outside ball one on Rosario. One and one.
It's a tough pitch to hit. Split finger, but John is falling off so far to the first base side. And then the ball comes out of his hand, and it looks like it's going to be away, and then it dips at the end.
This is going to be a tough play. No play, and a run batted in for Rosario. Sandoval just scoops it up and flips it back to Machi. And it's 7-1 Colorado. Will lead with his third ribby of the night. 26 now on the season. And we've got tacos. The Rockies with 7 runs. Don't forget to go to your participating Taco Bell locations tomorrow between 4 and 6 to get your Rockies taco special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell.
Javier Lopez, the left-hander for the Giants. Willeen Rosario last at bat hit a monster of a home run. This time it's a swinging bunt that goes 80 feet.
The beauty of the game. Hit one 400, you hit one, as you said, 80 feet, and they're still productive. Rockies' last 3 runs have come with 2 outs. You got to like that. Here's help. 0 for 3 tonight for Todd. And this ball is driven to right field, but Pence is going to get back and make the play. So the Rockies get 3 hits, 2 of the infield variety to produce another run. We go to the 8th, 7-1 Colorado.
half of the 8th. That's what's happening here at Coors Field. We got to get you around the rest of the West. A very important game for Arizona. We'll start with that. They get a win 1-0 over the Marlins. It's important because, well, it was their 4th straight win, but more importantly than that, Colorado product Brandon McCarthy, he got his first win, a 3-hit complete game shutout, and that was his first win not only of the season, but since he was hit with a comeback line drive last year when he was playing for the Oakland A's. San Diego right now, they're currently in action against Washington. They're up 2-1. Eric Stoltz had a no-hitter going through the 5th. He eventually gave up a hit and a run, and he went through 8 innings. Houston streets in to try and close that one out right now. And Los Angeles, they lost to Atlanta 3-1.
All right, Jenny, thank you. Leadoff double on the first pitch from Josh Outman in the 8th to Hunter Pence. Well, doubles for Pence.
Yeah, and with 3 left-handers coming up for San Francisco, nobody up in the pen for the Rockies.
Brandon Belt, a double, a strikeout, and a walk.
Left-handers off of Josh Outman this year, 154 clip.
George Conto's throwing in the Giant bullpen. Mentioned that the Giants are averaging the 2nd most runs in the National League to the Rockies. The Giants have the highest batting average, though, right now in the National League at 272. The Rockies are 2nd at 267. The only team in baseball with a higher batting average than the 272 of San Francisco is Detroit's 280. Three and one on Bell, and a hard shot, but right at Rutledge. 1 out as Pence goes to 3rd.
For Detroit, it helps when you have Cabrera hit 376.
It's really tailed off since the Triple Crown year of 2012. 1 out, 1 at 3rd base. Gregor Blanco coming up. Time for the Coors Light Freeze Cam. And this was the swing of Wellin Rosario, hitting a 2-run home run earlier in the ballgame, his 9th of the year. That's brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer.
Just looking at that swing from Wellin on the freeze cam. When we talk about hitters getting off their backside, getting off the back leg, when he made contact, his back foot was off the ground. There was an inch or so before or clearance from the ground in his foot.
You know who transfers his mass like that? You'll see him completely unweight the backside is Tulowitzki. You see that back foot.
The first guy I remember watching and seeing that happen was Big Frank Thomas. Frank would do the same.
Two and 0 right now on Blanco. That's in there. Well, another big crowd. Saturday night, 41,412. Last night in the Rockies' 10-9 victory, well over 43,000 at Coors Field. That was well received by Rosario.
I was just going to say that because he had his thumb up, he held it for Tim McClellan to make the call. Watch how softly he receives it, turns the ball towards the plate. Just the subtleties of catching and the improvement from Willeen Rosario.
This is playable left side. Tulowitzki and Arenado. Nolan. And that is out number 2. And that'll bring up Brandon Crawford. Dougie did a little number crunching on Brandon Crawford. 29 career games against the Rockies. Crawford has hit .340 with 3 home runs, 18 RBIs. Against every other team in baseball, he's a .228 hitter with 9 home runs.
Not quite to James Loney status.
Loney, if he faced the Rockies every day, particularly at Coors Field, he'd be a Hall of Famer. James having a good year with Tampa. 1-1.
Get Crawford out for Josh Outman. This will be a good inning for him. No foul.
Loney right now second in the American League in hitting at .371 behind the aforementioned Miguel Cabrera and right in front of Joe Mauer. And a guy who I'm looking forward to watching, the 21-year-old phenom at third base for Baltimore, Manny Machado. Machado's hitting above .340, and he can pick it at third. That'll be 2 good-looking young third basemen when Arenado and Machado
It'll be in
play
August.
against each other.
August 16th, 17th, and 18th in Baltimore.
1-2. Kicks away, and Willeen does a good job keeping it in the neighborhood.
When you drop and you block.
That was a tough one.
Well,
to
it
block.
was because of where it hit on the right at the edge of the plate. Tim's trying to buy Willeen some time. That kicked off his wrist.
Chatwood 5 2/3. Outman trying to get the 7th out of his stint. 2 outs in the 8th inning. The Rockies up 7-1. Slowly hit. Rutledge on the backhand, couldn't get it out of his glove. And there'll be an infield hit for Crawford. Pence scores the second giant run.
Well, that's a shame for Josh Outman and Josh Rutledge. Because Outman makes the pitch that he wants. Brandon Crawford gets one off the handle. Rutledge has to come in backhand. It can't make the transfer in one motion.
And now Walt's going to double switch. Andres Torres has been announced. And Johnny Herrera is going to go in the game for Rutledge. First pitch fouled off by Andres Torres as he's facing Wilton Lopez. Wilton on for the 21st time this year.
The ERA keeps going down and down. He's come out now in the last 5 to 7, 8 games where he's working the sinker like you're accustomed to seeing him when he was with the Astros.
Good fastball there at 92. 2 strikes on the pinch hitter Andres Torres. And he strikes him out on 3 pitches. Well done, Wilton Lopez. In the inning, a double, a single, and a run for the Giants. Rockies up 7-2. Game highlights brought to you by McDonald's Breakfast After Midnight. Now grab select breakfast and regular menu favorites from midnight to 4 a.m. I'm loving it. In the 5th inning, Willeen Rosario with a towering drive over the fence in left field. 2-run home run. And in the 7th inning, the Rockies would get another run. Willeen Rosario didn't quite hit this one as far, but he produced an RBI as Dexter Fowler, who had singled, comes around. Rockies up 7-2 as we go to the bottom half of inning number 8. George Contos, who we saw earlier in the series, will pitch the 8th inning. Both teams with 10 hits.
Contos' 22nd game was part of the Rockies win last night. Contos 1 1/3, gave up a run, couple hits, a strikeout, 29 pitches thrown for George, coming back tonight.
And Arenado hits it on the ground to Crawford, 1 out. That'll bring up Charlie Blackmon. With Johnny Herrera on deck. Charlie's 0 for 2 and a walk. He has scored a run.
It's a leadoff walk in the 3rd.
Rockies, if they hold on, up by 5 with 3 outs to go, would move within a game of the Giants, and they They'd be 2 back of Arizona. Arizona would have sole possession of first place. They beat Miami 1-0 earlier tonight. There's a base hit for Blackman. Arizona and the Giants both started the day in first place in the West at 24-18. The Rockies at 22-20. Also with this, if the Rockies produce this victory, they'll be 13-9 inside the NL West.
And 2 straight over the Giants after losing the previous 10.
It'll be their first 2-game winning streak since April the 20th. Here's Johnny. And Johnny smokes one through the right side. He's amazing. I mean, he hasn't played much of late. Gets his work in, diligent about that. Smile on his face every day.
Well,
first pitch he sees in a few days, boom.
Yeah, he comes
rocket
out
to right.
He comes out like a pinch hitter. He goes in for double switch to play. Defense hit third this inning. He doesn't have the luxury of waiting around for pitches, gauging a pitcher. The first fastball I see, I'm going to have to swing at it. And that he did. That was a sharp line drive to right field for a guy, as you mentioned, that hasn't seen much action at the plate.
And I know you can really appreciate Johnny because you had periods in your career, obviously, where you were a starter and you were playing all the time, every day, and then you had periods where you were Johnny.
I went, well, in the American League, especially. One time in the American League, I went 2 weeks without seeing the field. 2 weeks.
That's a long
time. Other than batting practice.
That happens in the American League. There's a base hit for Dexter. And here comes Blackman to the plate with the 8th Rockies run. Ball gets away. Dexter will move up. And that would be another error. They may give it to Crawford for not catching the baseball.
That wasn't the Pence's fault in right field. That was Crawford. He just dropped it.
Dexter gets an RBI, his 2nd of the ball game, his 18th of the year.
Keep adding on. Dexter hooks the ball between first and second. Single and an RBI, and it is an E6 on Brandon Crawford. Comes down and gets that ball.
7 errors in the last 2 games for the Giants.
4 last night, 3 tonight.
Jenkins will have him back this year. Not having him back this year.
That's what I said.
Dougie's checking his last AP.
I don't need any batting gloves.
Gets a hit here, he has a great chance to hit over 300 for the season. Just guessing the at-bats are going to be few and far between. 1 out, runners at 2nd and 3rd. Two outs. It's his first at bat. How long did you sit out one time?
2 weeks.
That's nothing. You kidding me? Lopez hadn't had an AB since 2009. What are you crying about?
Quite the same as batting practice.
Might not have any BP since 09. That's not true. Here's Cargo with 2 outs. 0 for 3 and a walk. He does have an RBI ground out. He hasn't seen a pitch on the inner 2/3 of the plate all night. The only pitch that he saw inside, it was actually called for a strike, but it was a baseball inside. He didn't swing it.
It was his last at bat when it was 3-1. I know the tendency is to get anxious and expand the zone because they're not giving you anything to hit. But that's where you have to stay focused. Stay with your plan when you go to the plate.
3-0.
If they're gonna not give you a pitch to hit, take your walk and let Troy drive some runs in. Because your turn will come. You'll have that chance to drive in runs.
Well, what'll happen is they'll get tired of Tulowitzki killing them, and they'll say, well, we'll take our chances with number 5. 8-2 Colorado, bottom of the 8th. 8 runs, 13 hits for the Rockies. 2 runs, 10 hits, 3 errors for the Giants. The Rockies have not made an error. Now back out of play.
There's 3 more errors tonight for San Fran. Gives them 33 this season. That's second most in the National League, only behind Washington.
Well, they've made 12 errors in their last 41 defensive innings.
Innings.
3-2. Ball 4, and the bases are loaded for Troy Tulowitzki.
Gotta like the situation for Troy. You're facing a pitcher that's thrown a lot of pitches the last 2 nights in George Contos.
Troy drives one left center field. It's going to get down. He'll score at least 2. Cargo's going to stop at third. Dexter follows Herrera home. The Rockies have hit double digits, 10-2. And Tulowitzki's grand numbers this year with runners in scoring position continue to rise. His 4th hit of the ball game. RBIs 34 and 35 for the Rockies all-star shortstop.
I mentioned the Contos and the number of pitches that he's thrown. This is a cement mixer slider. Another pitch that was elevated for Troy. We've seen 2 times tonight where he's got on top of the baseball and hit it hard when they've made the mistake. Now DJ LeMahieu with the 8-run lead for the Rockies. Will pinch run for Troy. 4-hit night, couple RBIs. Ask for much better than from your all-star shortstop.
Nope. Mayhew will stay in the game and probably play short. You play Johnny at short. Either way for Walt. LeMahieu is playing short primarily in Colorado Springs. Chance to get him opportunity there. This is a rocket, but it's right at Pagan. So Willeen Rosario with an out of ball. Rockies get 3 more in the 8th. They're up 10-2, looking for 3 more outs. Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Ram Trucks, Guts, Glory, Ram. 10-2 Colorado. Looking for 3 more outs as we check in center field with Joel Klatt. Joel?
Hey, Drew. Hey, how about a little battery charge tonight? Tyler Chatwood, Willeen Rosario leading the charge, as well as their all-star shortstop, Troy Tulowitzki. We'll talk about that. Plus, it's the little things, you know, like you say hello to somebody, you smile, you nod. It's the little things like moving the runner up, getting them in. I know it's turned into a blowout, but the Rockies doing some great things early in this game. The little things like moving runners up, getting them in, thinking of Cargo. Just wanted to say hello to you, Drew. You look nice tonight. Way to go.
You say that as if that's an aberration. and if it is, so be it.
It's not an aberration as much as it's the little things. You know, they were struggling just hitting home runs, couldn't win a lot of games. And then tonight, they're doing a lot of things. It started last night, really, when you think about it, with Dexter's bunt. Remember, EY Jr.'s on second. He bunts. They get the 3 runs in the 3rd inning. Ever since then, they've been doing great.
Absolutely. You're awful philosophical tonight. And we appreciate it, though. Joel, we'll see you in a few minutes.
Deep thinking.
That's some time to have deep thoughts. Deep thoughts in a few minutes on the Twitter postgame show with Joel Klatt. DJ LeMahieu's in at shortstop for Tulowitzki. So it's DJ and Johnny Herrera up the middle. Wilton Lopez stays on the mound. Angel Pagan will step up.
Comfortable is it for Wilton to come into the 9th inning with an 8-run lead after so many nail biters the last 2 nights?
Yeah, it's like yesterday we were talking after the ball game, and I'm sure the Rockies felt this way. The Giants kick it all over the yard, throw it all over the yard, make 4 errors. The Rockies come up with 10 runs, and you're still white-knuckling it going to the 9th inning. Of course, Betancourt was sensational in the 9th. 1, 2, 3, 9, 3 punch-outs. But this was much needed also.
It is.
A real comfortable one.
A comfortable one, and you kept adding on. You were up 3-1, and then you threw another one up in the 4th, 2 more in the 5th, and 1 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th.
And strike 1 on Scudero. Tell you where this helps also. You're talking about 4-game series, a lot of ball games in a row. The Diamondbacks been playing great baseball. Coming in on Monday. You're going to win this game without having to involve Belisle, Betancourt, or Brothers.
Where you could use them for the next 4 games because you have the off day on Thursday. So to your point, you've got guys arrested, but then you can use them in succession during that series and of course tomorrow too.
Outman did a good job.
Josh, a couple innings, held the club right there. I know he gave up the scratch run last inning, but that was a seeing eye base hit. It was a good pitch.
Yeah, the only ball that was hit hard against Outman was the double by Pence leading off the 8th. Two and 2 on Scudero. Again, the starters tomorrow: Barry Zito for the Giants and Juan Nicasio for the Rockies. To third, and Arenado gathers and throws to help. 1 out away. Also, this is the first time the Rockies have scored 10+ runs in back-to-back games since last June. June 28th, they scored 10+ against Washington, and the next day with the Padres coming to town, they were able to do it for the San Diego staff. Pablo Sandoval tonight, 1 for 4. And this should be the ball game. Help flips to Wilton Lopez. Well done. The Rockies, a convincing 10-2 victory over the Giants. First time they have won 2 straight since April 20th, the conclusion of their 8-game winning streak. It's the first time, listen to this, that they've beaten the Giants 2 straight since May 16th and 17th of 2011. So now the Rockies trying to start a winning streak against San Francisco after last night ending the 10-game slide against the Giants. Tonight's Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Delivery of the game is brought to you by Jimmy John's, and it usually starts with a good performance on the hill. This one followed suit. Tyler Chatwood, his 3rd start of the year, first since April 29th, and he was very, very good. 5 2/3. He allowed just 1 run, and many of the 7 hits were not hit with much authority. And he threw out another RBI single. He leads the National League among pitchers and ribbies with 4, despite having only 3 starts. Our delivery of the game provided by Jimmy John's. Tyler Chatwood. Visit jimmyjohns.com to find a location near you. The Rockies win it 10-2. Game 4 is tomorrow, but right now the Toyota postgame show is next. Enjoy.